Meantime, we got a news alert here on T-Mobile and Sprint sinking the after-hour session. Let's get to Seema and Mody for the details. Seema.
Yeah, Melissa, just when we thought this mega deal was nearing the finish line, T-Mobile and Sprint planned merger is reportedly facing pushback from the DOJ's antitrust staff. That, according to Dow Jones, quoting sources. Now, staffers from the Justice Department have reportedly told both carriers that the deal may not be approved under its current structure. In the past, critics have worried about the impact of this deal on competition and prices, as the combination of T-Mobile and Sprint would take the telecom market from 4 to 3 major wireless carriers. But the companies have often argued in the past that together they can offer their customers more options and work on faster 5G networks. CNBC received a no comment from Sprint and T-Mobile, but potential setback in this $26 billion merger has sent shares of both companies lower in extended trade, while competitor Verizon is also trading down in after hours. Melissa, back to you.
All right, Seema, thank you. Seema Mody back in the newsroom. Obviously, there's questions around what would T-Mobile, what would Sprint do next. But in terms of the competitive landscape with more players, there's probably more price competition. And that's why the other carriers are down. I know that sounds a little counterintuitive, but the more players out there, the more they're likely to cut prices.
Yeah, I mean, if you read the wording as currently structured,
right,
which is interesting. I mean, so I would look at it and say maybe this 9.5% sell-off in Sprint is actually an opportunity. I don't think this is necessarily over. So for me, I know T-Mobile's down $4. I get it. Sprint's down a lot more percentage-wise. I would view this as an opportunity to buy Sprint. I do think in some way, shape, or form, this probably does get done.
You have AT&T. You like AT&T. What does it do to AT&T, if anything?
I think there's an enormous headwind in at least the performance of AT&T stock over the last 18 months because of their cellular business. There's no, and DirecTV, and there's been failures there, but their cash burn and actually the cash flow elements of that business have actually, the trends over the last 3 quarters have been great. Now, this news, as you just said, maybe that introduced a more competitive, predatory landscape, but right now, I think of all of them, especially if we're talking about content, and I talked about this yesterday, so I won't waste your time today, but I think the sum of the parts on this company is very interesting.
I think that together, I agree with that statement that we just, when we announced the story, that together they offer more of a competitive nature and landscape to a Verizon or an AT&T. So it's counterintuitive, but I'd rather see them together.
You actually see them. You think the industry is better off?
Yeah, I think the industry is better off with these two merging, because I don't think independently they can compete with the monopolies that Verizon, the duopoly that Verizon and AT&T have.
Do you read through to this and think, DOJ cracking down on these deals?
Yeah,
maybe deals will be hard to get done.
I think there are some that I think they're definitely, it's going to be much more scrutiny, Mel. And because of that, I mean, you're never guaranteed anything when you're looking at all these various deals that are out there. And we've seen deals fall apart, some really big deals fall apart. So I don't know that this is totally shocking to see this happening. But from a competitive landscape, I think those two together need to be there to make this an actual, a better competition.